Good evening, everyone. Welcome to FGM eCast, presenting the AUSPASS Sim Series live from Interlagos tonight for effectively round one of the second segment of our race. Last week, we ended up running in the dark at Lime Rock Park in the GTOs, the Audis there, and had a cracking race there. I'm joined again tonight by Carl Withy. Welcome, Carl.
Thank you, Stuart. Yeah, glad to be back. Obviously, if night falls a little bit earlier than expected tonight, at least they have more than stickers on the front to add light to the cars.
Yeah, absolutely right. Last week, of course, the flames of the exhaust, pretty much the only thing giving us any idea of what happened towards the end of that race. And we were treated to quite a good race, actually, up until that point. So the guys will be keen to get out and run here again tonight, back in the GT3 and running at Interlagos. So let's bring up the race overview for you so you can see what's going on for tonight. So it is officially round six of the series, and we are at Interlagos. We've got to navigate our way through a 20-minute sprint and then a 40-minute reverse top 15 finishing order sprint for the second race of this evening. Turns 1 and 2, or the centre S's, are going to be a point of contention on the first lap. Rolling starts, of course, along with turn 11, and we want to see whether or not it's 1 or 2 stop on the 40-minute sprint. 1 stop will be required in both races, that is for sure. As a consequence of last week, Jeff Connell retains the lead of the Pro Series, and Dale Brady does the same in the amateur class, and that's thanks to 93 PC. That is the pre-race summary for tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one out there. From a little bit of maths that I've done, from calculations and things like that, it's going to be very tight in that second race. We might see a few people trying to risk the 1 stop, but it's going to be a bit close out there. So fuel saving is going to be key. It's a relatively short lap around the Jose Carlos Pace circuit here at Interlagos, of course. It's a tricky one as well, because you do go on the throttle quite a lot too. There's quite a lot of heavy acceleration zones, as we see Dale Brady there, just losing the rear end as he goes into turn 1, into the curve 1. It's one of those tracks where you do have to accelerate quite a lot, so fuel use can be quite high here. It is also quite an undulating circuit as well. You've got quite a lot of hills here, so you can sort of drop off a little bit when you're going downhill and save yourself a little bit of fuel. But there is a lot of uphill sections as well, and it's a very fast uphill section too, which is going to chew that fuel up quite quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the other things that has changed this evening is there is a little change to the ballast of these cars as well. And Sam, who is a participant, if you're wanting to jump on board, Sam number 15 in the race tonight, has given us this awesome looking new graphic thanks to HJ Plant Repairs, just to give all of the viewers an update on the changes in ballast. So every week the guys go through, when we are racing, do lots and lots of testing between himself and the other series administrators, and they end up coming up with adjustments to the car to make sure that at each track it's as even as it can be. So you can see there the BMW carrying 77 pounds of ballast. That's up 11 from the last race of last season at Mount Palmer, not last season, of the first segment, the Pacific segment, which we ran at Bathurst. The Mercedes-Benz retains an 11-pound ballast, no change there at all. And the biggest change, which we're pleased to see, not because they've got it wrong, but because we want a good variety of winners here, is the Ferrari has lost 11 pounds. So to give that some reference to, that's around about 5 kilos that's been taken out of that car. So it's now running 22 pounds of ballast. So we should see a little bit of a variety. And I can tell you at the moment that Joshua Fitt is fastest in the Ferrari, only just, but he is fastest in the Ferrari as we head towards the end of practice.
Yeah, we've got a Ferrari fastest with a BMW in second, and the closest Mercedes that I'm seeing at the moment is Jeff Connell down there. So a few different places all the way around. They're sort of sitting in a few different spots. It's going to be interesting to see how they sit once it all finishes up, though. But of course, that little bit of extra weight to that BMW should help slow it down a little bit, because that thing is an absolute monster on the straights. So it's going to make it a little bit trickier for the BMW. Of course, extra weight also adds to things like tyre wear, the acceleration of corner, and also cornering as well. So all these things do add over the lap, and that's why you see them changing quite often. The sort of balance of performance aspects of GT cars can be a difficult one to get exactly right sometimes.
I downloaded a map tonight to try and make myself sound a little bit more intelligent on these streams, but I've completely buggered it up and downloaded a map in Spanish. So all I can tell you is that from turn 14, or Arquibandacas, it's going to be a really long stretch run. For those of you who don't know the track, we'll jump on board when we get through qualifying shortly. But a huge opportunity for the BMW, basically from turn 13 right the way through to turn 1 to really stretch its legs. This track, Interlagos, not the longest track that we run at, certainly a big change from Mount Panorama, a little longer than last week, of course, when we run at the extremely short track. But the BMW here, that extra weight's just going to slow it down a little bit on that long stretch between turn 14 and turn 1. So it just gives everyone a fighting chance. And I really favour the Ferrari here through the windy sections as we look through sort of between turns 4 and right up through to turn 13, where it is the harder part for the car to negotiate. The BMW is going to struggle a little bit against the Ferrari, I think.
Yeah, it's going to make a bit of difference. The Ferrari's quite nimble around here. It's a very fun little car to drive, the Ferrari. The BMW's a little bit heftier. It's just that little bit chunkier, and it is a very menacing-looking vehicle as well. Just trying to actually remember what the altitude is of this track. Because I know it's a relatively high-ish altitude above sea level. Once I look that one up, I'll say it for you. But that can be a little differing factor as well, of course, for the turbo cars over the naturally aspirated cars.
Yeah, actually, I forgot to mention that's a very good point you've touched on there as well. This is quite a high altitude track, so not entirely sure myself exactly what it is either, but that will affect them as well. So it's really, obviously with the changes that they've made, they've done testing here to make sure that the lap times between them are as close to as can be. So, but I feel a really good opportunity here for someone like Joshua Fitt, or maybe even Daniel Webster, who's had a little bit of bad luck, to make their way up to the front. Maverick Benson, of course, had that really strong run a couple of rounds ago as well. We saw him make his way towards the front before an incident took him out towards the end of the race there. So lots of stuff to look forward to tonight as we are about to get into qualifying, thanks to simrigs.com. So we'll jump on board, as we always do on the stream, with the fastest car out of pit lane, and that is Joshua Fitt. So we are right on board with him again. So we're going to jump on board with Joshua Fitt for a lap around the track here at Interlagos and let him take us for a tour as we get an idea of how the track looks.
Yeah, one thing to watch out for here is the pit exit. It's actually quite a tricky pit exit because it does follow the center S's as it comes out of pit lane. And I was going to say to you as well, Stuart, it would probably be Portuguese, not Spanish, of course, in Brazil. So you've got to get your Portuguese right tonight as well.
It would be, but the map I downloaded is in Spanish.
Okay.
I managed to find. I don't know how I even managed to find it. I just assumed that it was going to be in the right language, but no.
You did well there then. So a tricky little pit exit and pit entry as well. It's got a very hard kink in it, so you've got to be careful of pit entry and exit here when you're coming in and out. So that's something to look out for in the race. It's something that the drivers will have been practicing. So that is definitely a big part of it. So as we're going to come around here, we're just heading around the final sectors of the track here, and up the hill we come. So let's talk you through a lap of the track here at Interlagos. So up the straight here, which isn't totally straight, there's a little bit of a kink here. You're going to cut across pit entry here, come along to the straight. Down we come to the first corner, the curve one. So you're going to drop it down to about third gear here, maybe second, and drop it in very easily. Got to be careful not to accelerate too hard here because it's very easy to spin up as you go through the center S's. Next, up to the curve de Sol. on the exit here. You're going to be accelerating up to around about 5th gear. You might hit 6th gear just at the very end. But down to turn 4 here, you're going to drop all the way down to 2nd gear, turn it in nicely, take as much curb as you can on the inside, a little bit on the outside. Be careful. There is a little bit of a corner here at turn 5. Turn 6 up to Ferrado. You're going to drop down to around about 3rd gear here. Back end steps out a little bit there for Joshua Fitt. Around turn 7 and up to turn 8, which is going to be a 1st gear corner. Very tight right-hander that's going to go into a very tight left-hander. Don't want to drop up to 2nd gear just yet. You're going to wait. Put it up into 2nd gear now. Go through turn 10, up to turn 11, again down to 1st gear. Very tight right-hander. You almost double back on yourself. Down to turn 12, Miguelo, which is a fast left-hander. You can almost go flat out when the tyres are up to tension. Down to Hyunkov, turn 13, which is that tight left-hander. Up the hill again, up to turn 14. Which is just a small kink, barely even a corner in these cars. You're just going to be flat out all the way up to the start-finish straight.
On a call from you, Carl, the knowledge of turns and names always blows me away every week, actually. Well done. Another great one there, as that was a lap at Interlagos, and thank you to Joshua Fitt for taking us around there. Of course, we've got about 6.25 minutes, or 6.75 minutes even, to go in qualifying. And just keep an eye here on the times. Joshua Fitt did go pole provisionally on that lap that we followed him around on there. And Jeff Connell, it is, who is closest behind him with a 32.37, 32.30 for Josh Fitt. Luke Turner as well. So we've got in 3rd position, so we've got a Ferrari, a Mercedes, and a BMW provisionally at the moment in our top 3 positions. As we've got plenty to go here. There's still a number of drivers who haven't even made their way out of pit lane yet. So we'll keep an eye on them. A lot of them just starting, I should say, their first timed lap. It's been a while since I've driven at Interlagos, actually, Carl. I can't remember how tough it is on incident points for track breaches.
It can be a little bit punishing, especially as you're going through some of the faster corners. If you just eat a little bit too much curb, especially as you come down towards the final sectors here, down into Mugello in turn 12. If you just go a bit wide there, as we saw Joshua Fitt actually doing, just going a little bit wide across the outside of turn 13. You can get a few incident points in those spots, but it's not as punishing as some of the other tracks I've found. You can use a little bit more curb than you expect sometimes, but you still have to sort of keep it in track limits, of course. But it's, from what I found driving today, it wasn't as punishing as some of the other tracks I have driven on recently. Maverick Benson jumping it up into a provisional pole there, right there, with Paul Mansell behind him. So good little job from them. Joshua Fitt still in 3rd with Jeff Connell in 4th.
We've got Ferraris 1 through 3, and in 5th position, Daniel Webster sliding in there as well. Ross Rizzo just jumped into pit lane. We're going to jump on board with him, and instead we'll jump on board with Dale Breed, our amateur leader at the moment. Nothing amateur about Dale at all, with plenty of real-life experience in that fantastic, one of the best liveries I have seen. Probably almost rivals my favourite livery that our mate Frank Hodak put together on his BMW in one of the early seasons of AUSPASS. But fantastic looking XCM sponsored BMW M4 there for Dallas. He's looking to make a move up from 11th position, and so far looking like he may do it with a green sector in this one. So we'll keep an eye on him for the remainder of this lap, as he's just making his way around towards the latter part of the lap. He's just about to make the big run up onto the straight. Goes through the final, what we would call probably the final sequence of corners. Obviously the little kink there on the straight, just in front of us there, and he'll come through to complete his lap. Paul Mansell on a flyer as well, currently in 2nd position.
Oh, as Brady just makes a mistake there, just up the top of the hill. Sorry about that, Stuart. Just watching him, and was just actually about to say that turn 14, although it's not much of a turn, you can lose the car through there. The back end does step out a little bit. It did step out on him, and he just caught the grass on the outside of the corner. He managed to save the car and just get it straight into pit lane. But you know, even though it's not much of a corner up there, it's still can catch you out because the car gets a little bit light up there, because that's just on the crest of the hill as well, and sometimes it can catch you out.
And obviously doing so there. I didn't realise there was 1/100th between Maverick Benson and Paul Mansell on at the front row of the grid here. Mansell with a couple of green sectors in this lap, so every chance he may move himself onto provisional pole. Maverick Benson's just jumped back into pit lane. So at the moment it is Paul Mansell on track. Joshua Fitt just in front of him as well, not too far off pole position himself, just 9/10 off the lead here. So it's going to be a really close finish to qualifying. 32.37 for Jeff Connell just behind them, and Daniel Webster 32.40, still out on track, both of those drivers, and Luke Turner's just starting a flying lap. So this one's going to go right down to the wire. We've got just under 2.5 minutes to go here in qualifying.
Yeah, it's going to be so close here. Will Paul be able to get that top spot of qualifying? It's going to be very tight here as he comes across the line. What will it be? Let's wait for everything to up there. Just losing that little bit of time, and it just cost him there. And that's the thing, is it's one of those tracks where, because it is such a short track, you really... You don't have anywhere that you can really make a mistake and hide it. It's a 1:32 lap, obviously, so it is longer than some tracks, but it is quite a compact circuit, and there's a lot of technical turns where there is a lot of slow speed corners, as we say, dropping down to first gear quite a lot. And those corners, if you can carry an extra little bit of speed through them, you can make up a huge amount of difference.
Yeah, I don't know that I could pick another track in globally where there are 2 first gear corners on it. So it is, quite a slow or a unique track, Monaco, as they all are. Monaco, yeah, okay. And now I was just thinking about it. Actually, there's there's a couple of solid chicanes as you move your way around the world that probably get people to slow down to first gear. But anyway, it's not straight to mind. As Ross Rizzo, who we've jumped on board with, goes up into 3rd place with a 32.23. So 3/10 separating 1st and 3rd position at the moment.
Yeah, no, especially an open flying track like this, there's not many with such tight corners on them. A lot of the street circuits, of course, they do tend to have those tight circuits like Pau and Macau, places like that. But an actual proper circuit, there's not many with those real tight corners. Sort of Donington, maybe. Donington with the extra little bit of loop on it. You sort of get a couple of very, very slow corners there. But it's very rare that you get those really slow corners, but they really do help with racing, especially as you go through turn 13, because if you make a little bit of a mistake going through that turn, somebody's going to be able to chase you all the way up the hill, and it makes for a great overtaking opportunity, especially as you get down to turn 1, where it's a very heavy braking zone.
Absolutely. As we just approach the conclusion of qualifying here, brought to you by simrigs.com. And it is going to be Maverick Benson who takes out pole position. We'll just wait for this to tick over, and we will bring you the full grid here for this race. Let's get that up on the screen. And we'll take you through it there. So obviously Odds Pro Am Sim Series here. Thanks to simrigs.com. It is your grid. We do have Maverick Benson taking out taking out pole position with Paul Mansell on row 1. Ross Rizzo with a good late run to get onto row 2 next to Joshua Fitt, followed by Luke Turner and Jeff Connell off row 3. We've got Daniel Webster and Timothy Audie off row 4, with Christopher Henn and Aaron DeLuca off row 5, Mario Vartanian and Dale Breed off row 6. As we flick back through the list here, Derek Audie, Jeffrey Wang off row 7. We've got Richard Brookfield, watch out for him, might make his way through, and Aaron Oliver off row 8. Brady Buchanan, Sam Lehman off row 9, with Mike Casey and Lockie Capel off row 10. As James Wilkins and Liam Caplice off row 11, with Phil Audie and Patrick Panton off row 12. And as we make our way back to the end of the grid there, it is Tim Mitchell in a slightly shorter grid than we're used to so far this season, with Tim Mitchell just bringing up the back of the pack there. That is your race grid presented by simrigs.com.
Yeah, 25 cars out there tonight, which is a little bit smaller than we've seen it at some tracks, but 25 cars out at Interlagos is still a lot of cars, and these GT cars, you only need 2 cars to have a good race. 25 of them is going to give us a very good race, I feel. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. It is a Ferrari lockout at the front, with, as you said, Ross Rizzo as I have some slight technical difficulties.
Yeah, Ross Rizzo there, you did jump in. So Ross Rizzo jumping into third place. So it is Ferrari at the front. So we'll have a look as we about to get underway here. And just heading off on our formation lap. Well, it's not really a formation lap. In fact, we have a rolling start here. So I'll get my terminology right at some stage this evening. You will be able to pick up when that actually happens.
Well, just remember, it's a safety car for GT cars.
Yes, this is true as well. No, we don't get a pace car either, so it's just commentator's curse for tonight. Anyway, it is Maverick Benson off pole position with his teammate Paul Mansell right next to him, so looking forward to getting this one underway. Do have a full lap warm-up here.
Yeah, that'll be good for the tyres, just getting those tyres up to some form of temperature. We've not had many full lap warm-ups. A lot of the time it's been the slightly shortened warm-up laps rather than the full ones. You'll have to forgive me as I just had to reload my session, so I'm just going to be watching on our little broadcast booth stream instead at the moment. But yeah, that full lap will help just get a bit more temperature up into those tyres. Temperature always important with these cars, especially the heavy ones like the big old BMWs.
So just to remind you, we do have a rolling start here. We're about to get underway, and it is a 20-minute sprint race here. The top 15 of this race will be inverted for our second race coming up a little later on tonight, where it will be a 40-minute session. There is going to be a pit stop in this one, maybe not two in the next. We'll see.
Charging
We've got to get through this one first, so let's get on with it as we go racing, and they are 4, 5, 6 wide down in the field as we head down towards turn 1 and the centre S's, and it is going to be Paul Mansell who's going to take through. In fact, no, Maverick Benson's going to do the run around the outside. He should get the undercut down through on the inside as well. I heard a bit of bashing in the background, so we'll check back to see if that was anyone. It looks like everyone's made their way through though, and it is Maverick Benson who leads us away for lap 1. Ross Rizzo's got a good... Oh, there's a bit of bashing crash in the background there. It looked like Dale Breed might have been involved in that. Phil Audie, of course, there's no cautions or yellow flags in this one. Liam Caplice, Jeffrey Wang went off track, and Phil Audie also got involved in that as well. We'll try and duck back and have a look at that as it does notify us that Liam Caplice has had an incident.
Liam Caplice having a big moment, and that's wrecked his car. His car is absolutely ruined. He's actually gone off onto the outside, hit the wall, and then bounced back onto the track. And that car is very damaged. It's gone across into the path of some other cars going through turn number 4, I believe. So yeah, that car is going to be crabbing all the way back to the pit lane if it can.
We'll bring you a replay of that where we can. Mike Casey also having an incident. Liam Caplice looks like he's made his way back to the pits via a tow truck. So he will be out of this first race for this evening.
Yeah, I don't think there was much chance of getting that car back to the pit lane without some form of miracle. Christopher Henn is coming into pit lane as we speak as well. Doesn't look like there's maybe a little bit of damage there from that earlier incident on him. So a few cars getting caught up in that. It was a big incident down the Rata opposite straight. So that's straight after you go through the center S's, which is sort of the second big long straight, if you like. Right now we got a good little battle going on up the front. Ross Rizzo has checked out a little bit, but Jeff Connell has got Paul Mansell all over the back of him, with Joshua Fitt back there as well. So some good racing up the front at the moment.
As we're just covering this battle, it sounds like there was a slide in the background there. Yeah, Paul Mansell just getting a little bit of a touch up too as they head up towards the first of the 2 slow corners here at Interlagos, and he's just getting checked up a little bit here and moving down the field. Of course, he was on the front row of the grid, so just struggling a little bit potentially for grip there at the start.
And Paul Mansell.
Oh, wow, he's gone.
Big crash. He's gone. Big incident. He's gone into the front of somebody there as well. I was going to say, it pretty much started through that corner. He lost grip going through there. Tried to keep it around the outside, which is not an easy thing to do. The outside of these turns is a little bit less grippy. He's sort of trying to keep it there, trying to keep up the pace, but when he's been on the outside there, the back end has just stepped out on him, and that is that. And she's gone round right into one of the DPR cars.
Yeah, absolutely. Just unfortunately getting caught up there with nowhere to go. So I was just watching the 53 of Timothy Auty there. He's battling away with Josh Fitt. Mario Vartanian just in the background there. He's up 5 spots already. We always know that Mario is a quick starter. Luke Turner right behind him. So a good start for his race, just making his way up towards the front. And battling away in this little pack that we've got developing here at the front. Maverick Benson is soon going to be under pressure from Ross Rizzo. You can see just there already that Ross is right up on the back of him already in that BMW. So it is Ferrari, BMW, Mercedes at the front of this pack.
As Maverick Benson gets a little bit loose through the corner again, it looks like the Ferraris are just struggling a little bit at this stage of the race just to grip through those slow corners. They're just getting a little bit of a twitch through those corners and just stepping out a little bit at the back. Whereas the Mercedes and the BMW look a little bit more planted at this stage of the race. Of course, it can all change as fuel goes down, as tyres change, as they sort of get a little bit more warmed up and things like that. But you've got to say at the moment, Ross Rizzo is going to be menacing Benson all over the back of him. That BMW we know is quick in a straight line. Jeff Connell as well, just sitting back there, not pushing too hard. He's got a nice little bit of open air, but he's also got a little bit of that slipstreaming effect that's going to come into play for him from Ross Rizzo.
Got to also ask the question about when these guys might decide to jump into pit lane. We've just seen a couple of the drivers already do that. Luke Turner, Aaron Oliver, Dale Breed and Brady Buchanan have all jumped into pit lane. Just trying to probably get some clear air more than anything else, stuck right in the middle of the pack. And they've decided to pit early to potentially do an undercut.
Yeah, that's it. A few people will try that little bit of an undercut, just get that fresh air in the front of the car, make it a little bit easier. Rizzo really pushing that BMW, really hustling it at the moment. From what I could work out, we'll be looking around about lap 6 to 8 for these guys to be coming in. If people are just saving a little bit of fuel, they'll be able to get to about lap 8. If they're pushing a little bit, probably around about 6 or 7. So that's when I expect everybody to come in. Of course, they do start on lighter fuel loads, so they don't start on a full tank. That's why we see them coming in quite early for this sprint race.
Well, as Rizzo there, looked like he opened the door. Connell had a sniff, just not quite far enough up to put a move on. But he is well and truly in this battle. Fastest lap of the race for Jeff Connell, a 32.19. So Maverick Benson there just drops a wheel off. And that has definitely upset that Ferrari, and he now drops down into 3rd place. As Ross Rizzo, probably a little lucky there that didn't end up a lot worse for him than it could have, with Maverick Benson there almost losing it and coming back onto the track in the side of Ross Rizzo. So Rizzo now in the lead with Jeff Connell hounding the back of that BMW, but Maverick Benson already back in the fight.
Yeah, what did I say about turn 13 there? It is one of those corners that's very easy to mess up, and if you do, leaves you very open as you're going up that straight, and that's exactly what happened. It also opened up Ross Rizzo because he had to ease off a little bit, so it gave Connell the opportunity to put some more pressure on him as they got up to turn number 1, but he had to have offense as well as defense there because Maverick Benson was all over the back of him as well, trying to get back into that position. But it's a good fight right now between a BMW, a Mercedes, and a Ferrari.
Yeah, absolutely. We might just... Oh, there's a cut of the grass there. I was just going to say, we might just jump back and have a look at that incident early on in the race with Liam Caplice while things are a little stable. So we'll just jump back and have a quick look at this replay.
So yeah, big moment. He's gone off into the side there. He's then hit the wall, and that spun the car across the field. He was trying to hold it planted and then has come back across the field. So very lucky not to catch more people out. That could have taken out a lot of cars there. A few people did get caught up in it, but yeah, his night was pretty much over and done at that stage.
He needs to go and buy a lotto ticket, because how he has managed to miss basically a dozen cars when he's been sliding around and across the track, I will never know. So a very fortunate incident there to Liam Caplice is actually back out on track. He is a lap down, but very lucky not to take out probably half the field in that episode.
Yeah, the virtual pit crew have done a great job of fixing that car up. They've bashed the panels out and given it a spit shine as well. It looks almost brand new. So yeah, good job there. But yeah, just getting back out there, and obviously with slightly smaller fields, you know, being that sort of lap down, you know, you can still get some points. You can still score some positions. So you've got to be out there to contend. You don't know what's going to happen to the rest of these guys. As up the front, the battle is still going on. Connell gets a good run on Rizzo that time. You can see Connell seems to have a little bit more confidence through those tighter corners at the moment. That BMW, like I suggested earlier, might just be struggling through those slow turns, just with that little bit of extra weight in it. But as soon as it can put its power down, it is going like a whippet after a bee's stung it.
Gotta say, these three cars running very, very close together, so there's no obvious deficiencies in either of them, which is great. It takes it just down to drivers, which when you've got three different cars within the category is a good result. So looking forward to seeing how this one pans out. Just getting right out onto that gridded tile on the outside as all three are in. All three are in. Rizzo, Connell and Benson. Joshua Fitt follows them in, as well as Timothy Audi, Vartanian. Imagine Sam Lehman may make his way in as well when he gets around, but our top six are in pit lane.
And Sam Lehman's coming in as well. So I think I actually called my fuel numbers right tonight. I think I said laps around about lap 6 to 7.
Lap 6, you were spot on.
For the guys that were pushing it. So yeah, everybody has been really pushing it out there. Nobody's really been fuel saving by the looks of things. I think everybody has come into pit lane now.
There's a few on their way through, but Ross Rizzo, I think, is going to potentially resume the race in the lead after that pit stop. He is, which is a fantastic effort there. Just looks like the 25 of Liam Caplice potentially unlapping himself, and they're just not quite able to stay out there in front. He would have got the blue flag, so Ross Rizzo resumes the lead of this race. Got a good gap over Connell now. A 1 and a nearly 2 second gap, and then Maverick Benson behind him. So Rizzo potentially able to save a little trickle of fuel in that exchange, and then he's just managed to take the advantage of it in the pit stop.
Yeah, done a good job up there at the moment. Just looking through the field at the moment. Sorry, my timing screen is just playing up for the second, which is always the case.
I'm going to try and take a stab in the dark here and see if you were going to check if everyone had been through pit lane.
No, I was actually looking at Richard Brookfield. On my screen, it's coming up as P8 at the moment. And if that's so, that's some good positions gained for him.
I think you might just be a little bit behind there. So he's in P14, just up one spot now after all of the pit lane transit has been done.
Okay, yes, okay. Right, maybe it's my screen that's playing up. Okay, that's good to know. So sorry about that. Good old timing systems and having a slight system crash before the start does not help things out at all. But Ross Rizzo has managed to make some really good time there up front over Connell and Benson. So those have managed to pull out a good gap at the moment. They've got a relatively good lead over Joshua Fitt as well. Benson has got about a 2 second, almost a 3 second gap over Joshua Fitt at the moment, with Luke Turner there in 5th position. Just looking at people that have made up some good spots. Mario Vartanian up in 7th at the moment.
Yep, he's up 4 spots.
Yeah, so good job from him, doing a good job out there tonight. He stopped sort of a little bit later. He wasn't one of those guys that came in a bit earlier. One of the only people to really make up positions with the slightly earlier stop to try and sort of get that clear air and get the undercut was Luke Turner. So Luke Turner did make a couple of positions up with that earlier pit stop, but not many other people did gain.
Yeah, absolutely. Pitting on lap 3 there, along with Dale Breed and Aaron Oliver. Brady Buchanan as well. So they're a little bit further down the field, but it's worked out well for Luke Turner. He's actually just made his way back to his starting position, so he did qualify 5th, along with Joshua Fitt, who qualified in 4th position. So our top 5 hasn't changed, aside of some shifting at the front there, but the top 5 drivers, still the top 5 drivers as they qualified.
Yeah, you'd almost think not much has gone on in this race so far, but there has been a lot of changes of positions. There's been a few little moments out there as well, which is always what we like to see.
Those marks on the grass there indicate a crime of an earlier part of the race, which did happen, but you're right, it's been a pretty stable one. Just some nice close battles at the front, as I can hear some sliding going on in the
Tim Mitchell
background.
Down there has lost the back end of the car. He's managed to get it back under control, but he's going to have spun those rear tyres up, got them very, very hot, and they're going to be complaining for the rest of the lap now. So he's going to be under pressure soon, I believe. Ross Rizzo's right behind him at the moment, so he's going to be getting the blue flags coming out very shortly, and that spin will not have helped him.
As we're on board now with Ross Rizzo, you can see Tim Mitchell just off in the distance there to get round towards turn 13 here, out on the stuff that you can easily see. You can drop a wheel off there. Gets it done. Makes his way up the hill as the sun sets here at Interlagos. Hopefully they've got the timing right. We don't want to be running in the dark again here.
At least we got headlights.
Headlights, that's exactly right. So that'll make a bit of a difference.
Absolutely is. We've just got 5.5 minutes left of this race, and Ross Rizzo is doing well out front. Looks like Connell has managed to make up a little bit of time. So Connell and Benson are closing a little bit as they go along. So those cars are still managing some good pace at the moment. Last lap round, they were about a tenth of a second faster than Ross Rizzo. So they got a little bit more speed at this very moment. But of course, lapped cars can make a big difference here. As you can see, Jack Connell just getting a little bit out of shape there, just having to get around Tim Mitchell there. And that did actually, I think he actually managed to gain a bit of time over Ross Rizzo, as Rizzo got caught in a less than ideal spot, and Connell's seen that he's gained, and he is really starting to hustle that Mercedes along.
You'll be fully aware he's only got 4 minutes to do something if he's going to do anything here. He's now well and truly inside a second, so he will get the benefit of a draft down the main straight when we get there. Maverick Benson, of course, as well, has moved up a little on the back, so our front three are getting prepared to have a really strong battle over these last 4 or 5 minutes. There's a good battle going on back in the pack as well between Richard Brookfield and Aaron Oliver. So we'll try and flick back to that. I just want to see how the Mercedes goes down the straight, trying to keep up with the Beamer and into the braking zone here. So we'll stay on board with this one for another minute or two. Yeah,
Connell is catching. He's definitely making time down that straight and just able to get that braking a little bit later. So he gained about half a tenth there. Not much, but he did gain a little bit there. So he's getting that advantage of that little bit of slipstreaming action right now. And that's going to help him along down the straights and just help sort of almost negate the BMW's main advantage, and that is brute forces. Oh, Connell just goes very wide there. That's definitely gonna pick him up a little bit of a warning from iRacing.
That's a point for that one.
Yeah, definitely past the boundaries. But he has managed to keep it going, and yeah, he's really starting to hustle it. You can see it in the braking zone there. Very late braking, and this is what we said before. Through these tight corners, it seems the BMW is really struggling. Connell's going to try and take advantage of that, put the pressure on Rizzo and try and force him into a mistake.
Absolutely, yeah, really good vision there of the Mercedes. And we'll stick on board here with Connell. We've got 2 minutes 54 to go, so this will not be the white flag lap. They'll get 2 more in here.
Connell got a really good entry into that corner and a good exit as well. He is very close right now. He's going to get a good slipstream up the hill here. Just got to keep that car settled now. This could be an opportunity for him to try to do an under-braking manoeuvre down into turn 1. So he is pretty much close enough. Will he try it? He is going to go for it this time, maybe. No, he sticks there. But this is going to keep him open. If he can keep on the back of Rizzo right now as they go through turn 3, they will have another option down into turn 4. So it looks like he's going to try and keep as close as he can through the BMW's strengths, and that's the fast bits. As soon as they get up to turn 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, that's where he's going to probably make his move. We'll probably see Connell try and make his counts through those slow first gear corners.
Yeah, he really needs to be thinking about the next lap. I think he's having a little bit of a look there. He can put some pressure on Rizzo this lap around and make sure he stays nice and tight, and maybe have a dig down into turn one. And he's only got to really defend. Oh, he's had a big look there. He's right up on the back bumper of Ross Rizzo. But he can just defend his way through here in that rather wide BMW. But if I were Jeff Connell, I'd be a lot faster than I am on the sim now. But if I was Jeff Connell, I'd be looking to maybe try and set it up for turn one. Use that draft just to hug his way down the straight, and the better brakes on the Merc to get it done.
Yeah, that's it, but it is easier said than done sometimes because of that BMW is just so mighty down the straights, even with that little bit of slipstreaming action. It doesn't always help out, and that first corner, being a slightly faster corner as well, it's not going to affect the BMW quite as much. He has got quite close here. He's within a couple of tenths of a second. He's going to try for a little bit of a late break, but as I say, I reckon we're going to see the move try and take place through that tight, twisty section. He's just got to keep within a couple of tenths of a second of Rizzo to make this work, as we are on the last lap. We've got 40 seconds remaining of this race. Rizzo is really under pressure right now from Connell.
Stay on board here. No, we'll jump out because he gets right up behind him. Just not quite able to get it done.
No, he got a good run off there, though. This is the important bit, and this is the bit where we've seen the Mercedes much faster than that BMW. He has right on the bumper of Rizzo right now. If he can get the move done through one of these tight corners, he could be in with a shout. But Rizzo might be able to get him back along that long straight towards the finish line. It won't be over even if Connell manages to pass, but I don't know if he'll be able to do it.
He's running out of corners very, very quickly. Another good opportunity here through the last of the slow right-handers, as they'll make their way down towards turn 11. He's just not quite going to be able to get it done. This is obviously the bit where the BMW starts to come back into its strength. Oh, he's sucked up onto the inside here. He's going to get it done. Oh, he's gone too deep. Rizzo gets it back on the switchback. It was worth a try. They kept it clean, but it has punished Jeff Connell, and he's going to have to settle for second place. You'd have to say worth the gamble.
Tried that one.
Worth the gamble.
Yeah, very good attempt there, and great driving awareness as well from Rizzo, because he did make contact with Connell in the back. There was a slight little tap there, but that could have been a big accident. Connell really lost the late breakers there. He tried all he could with that one. Did not pay off for him, but importantly, he had enough gap over Maverick Benson so he could make that attempt.
Yeah, absolutely. Really good driving from both the drivers. Not surprising given the names that we're mentioning. Rizzo, Connell, both very good, solid drivers. Maverick Benson, a solid third position from him. And as you identify, Carl, those Ferraris are a little bit slow on cold tyres. So the Ferraris obviously qualifying very well, but just not quite able to get things done under the cold conditions at the start of the race. As we see just a little bit of shenanigans going on there, and Sam Lehman just pushed into the fence, all in good fun. So we'll bring up the results.
A bit of extra horsepower.
Yeah, absolutely. No, not that. Actually, no, you probably wouldn't be too upset to have that. We're just waiting for the session to tick over. We'll bring up the results from race 1. Of course, race 2 is a 40-minute race, and we do have a reverse top 15 out of this one, so it means that we'll be having Brady Buchanan and Aaron Oliver on the front row of the grid. Our race winner Ross Rizzo and Jeff Connell, second place, will be starting from 15th and 14th respectively. So yeah, an interesting race yet again for the series. They got the parity right again, so a good job to the administrators. Let's bring up those results now on behalf of Bridgestone Select, and we'll have a quick look at those as they come up on screen. So as we mentioned, it was Ross Rizzo just holding out there against Jeff Connell in a really good finish, albeit 3/4 of a second. They're not showing the true story. It was close right to the last corner. Jeff Connell having a good crack And Ross Rizzo there just able to get away with it with the cutback. Maverick Benson taking out a really solid third position after starting on pole. Joshua Fitt fourth. We've got Luke Turner in fifth. Tim Audi in sixth, with Mario Vartanian, our biggest mover, up in seventh. Christopher Henn in eighth. Aaron DeLuca ninth. Daniel Webster rounding out our top 10. We've got Sam Lehman, Dale Breed, Richard Brookfield, Aaron Oliver, and Brady Buchanan in our top 15. So as we mentioned, that reverse order race. Coming up next, you will see Buchanan off pole, and we've got Lockie Capel, Jeffrey Wang, Patrick Panton rounding out our top 18 as we flip the page over. Derek Audie, Paul Mansell, James Wilkins, Phil Audie, Tim Mitchell, Liam Caplice, and Mike Casey rounding out our grid, I believe. And that is all she wrote for race one.
Yeah, good race there, and nice little sprint race action there as well. It's going to be very different now for this 40-minute race. Very different, sort of a very different bit of a race now, because we've seen that when they're going sort of flat out, they could only manage about 6 laps. So that could be an interesting one. From the little bit of maths I was doing, they need to make it to around about lap 8, I think, to make it on 1 tank of fuel. So, sort of, if they can make it to around lap 7 to 8, then they can just about make it on fuel, but it's going to be very, very tight. So we might see a couple of people needing to 2-stop here. It could be an option to even try it out a little bit. The pit stop time here at Interlagos it's not the longest of pit stop times. You don't get caught up too long in the pit lane. It's a very short pit lane force limiter area. So, maybe coming in for taking a little bit less fuel and trying for a bit of a faster run could be an option. It probably won't pay out, but you never know. Sometimes these things do work. But a few people might be very tight on fuel towards the end. So you don't know what's going to pay out in that respect. So it's going to be interesting to see who takes the risk and who can fuel save. We know there are some great fuel savers in the field. We've seen it many times when we've gone, there is no way they're going to make it to the end on this current amount of fuel that they've got, and they've proven us wrong time and time again.
Yeah, but of course the fuel saving extraordinaire, Matty Carleone, not on tonight, and we do know that it's rumoured, and it is only a rumour, but it is rumoured that Ross Rizzo does carry fuel around in his race boot. So if anyone's going to do it, it'll be him. Tonight we'll keep an eye on him to see his strategy is really, really good at saving fuel. But of course, Interlagos, not the easiest track to actually save fuel at. So we'll see what's coming up in the next race. So a little bit of a shout out quickly to our series sponsors, simrigs.com, Bridgestone Select, Cranbourne, Fountain Gate and Rowville, 93PC, and to our stream partners, AJ Insurance Services, as well, for their ongoing support. Carl, you see at the top of the screen there, we have got a tribute up to John and Wayne, mentioning the Cancer Council. Prostate cancer is an ugly disease that affects a higher percentage of men than it actually needs to. You need to go out and get yourself checked. If you have any concerns, don't put it off. Don't be a hero. Don't think you're being brave. Go and get yourself checked out before it is too late. Of course, there are advisory age limits for you, or in fact age minimums, I guess, for you to go and make sure you get yourself checked every 12 months. It's not pleasant, it's not fun, but it could just about save your life. So just make sure that you do go and get yourself checked. If you've got any concerns, don't be a hero. Head to the doctor and get yourself checked. It could be 5 minutes that will save you the next few years of your life.
Yeah, 5 minutes of discomfort can save you 50 years of your life sometimes, and that's the thing. It is an important thing, and of course, the other big thing with that is it can save a lot of distress to your family as well. So, a couple of moments of discomfort from yourself, just think of England, as they say, and just get through with it. But it will save a lot of discomfort for all the rest of your family, and it's a big thing to get checked out, and it's something that very important. And needs to be discussed. Unfortunately, it's it is a thing, like cancer, and it's a terrible thing. But it's always worth getting checked out if you have any concerns.
So on to lighter but no more serious matters than what we've just discussed. Let's have a look at this grid. I'll just bring that up on the screen there as I accidentally double-clicked the button and it took it away before I even got to have a look at it. But we'll run through this one, and in fact we've decided we're going to start from the back of the grid as well. So that's what happens when I get through and just trigger a whole heap of things at the same time. Let's get this back up to the start. Come on. There we go. Alrighty, so let's get this second race underway here. Reverse grid top 15. Brady Buchanan, Aaron Oliver off the front row. Watch out for them to try and convert here. We have had it happen. Richard Brookfield and Dale Breed as well. Two strong drivers. Sam Lehman, Daniel Webster. He'll be happy there as it's decided that it no longer wants to show that either. Bring it back up there, thank you. Aaron DeLuca, Christopher Henn off row 4 with Mario Vartanian and Tim Audi off row 5. We've got Luke Turner, Joshua Fitt off row 6. Let's get through this before it decides that it's going to suddenly change its mind. There we go. It is Maverick Benson, Jeff Connell, Ross Rizzo and Lachlan Capel off row 8. There we've got Jeffrey Wang, Patrick Penn off row 9, Derek Audi, Paul Mansell off row 10. With James Wilkins, Phil Audi off 11, Tim Mitchell, Liam Caplice off 12, and we've got Mike Casey starting at the back after those early dramas in the last race.
Yeah, that's it. And it's going to be interesting to see here how it goes. Of course, flipping the grid around does make a big difference and does change things up quite a lot. But we've got, again, a Ferrari on pole position with a Mercedes
just making his way back up to the front row of the grid there.
Aaron Oliver.
Aaron
Oliver. So that's something just to be a little bit worrisome of. But then the BMW of Richard Brookfield there behind him and Dale Breer, as you say, just in fourth as well. So going to be interesting here. Will those Ferraris be able to switch on those tyres? It has got a bit cooler now, of course, as the sun is going down, but they are coming to the top of the hill. We will see the safety car peel into the pit lane very shortly as they crest the top of the hill here. As I say, very tricky little corner sometimes and very easy to lose that rear end. But Brady Buchanan will be leading us off here at Interlagos. So going to be an exciting race.
So I get the feeling there could be some fireworks here at the start. We'll jump out to the blimp and just try and have a watch about as much of the field as we can on the start here. And we are off and running. Brady Buchanan, Aaron Oliver get away. Aaron Oliver's had a cracking start there, 3 wide. Down the straight there. What a terrible view that is. Let's get out of it because you can't see anything 4 wide. In fact, down into the centre S's. And we've got to make sure everyone tries to get through there. Timothy Audi shuffling down the field a little bit. There's some crashing and bashing in the background. You can hear it there again on the stream, but nothing too severe by the look of it. This is where all of the issues started on race 1. We saw plenty of drivers run wide here, but it looks like they're all starting to shuffle through, but it is Brady Buchanan and Aaron Oliver in first and second.
As you say, that big crash down the back of the field. A lot of cars getting involved in that. Phil Audi involved in that one, as well as...
looks like Josh Fitt, Mario Vartanian as well.
That's a huge accident. A lot of cars involved in that. There's 2 accidents going on at the same time. One happened just on the Exeter pit lane. Somebody's gone off towards the back there. James Wilkins involved in that one, and Phil Audi, I believe, is the car that was involved in that one. And then there was a big secondary crash up a little bit further ahead, and that's 2 very big incidents there.
We'll bring you the replays for those very shortly. We'll just stay focused on the lead of the race at the moment. It is Brady Buchanan and Aaron Oliver out in front as we head towards the end of lap 1. It's a good thing about these reverse grid races. They throw up some very interesting results.
Yeah, it looks like, just having a bit of a look, it looks like Joshua Fitt just got into the back of Mario Vartanian, and that's what that second incident was. So a lot going on there, a bit tricky to get.
Side.
It's gone around, lost it through the first corner. Aaron Oliver lucky to avoid that one.
Absolutely getting very lucky there as Brady's doing his best Mike Myers impersonation there, just getting stuck on that grass. And now we've got a challenge for the lead. Richard Brookfield as well. He's trying to go around the outside. That's not going to work for him. And it is Aaron Oliver who will assume, I should say, the lead of the race. But here is challenged again as Richard Brookfield gets a really good run. And he's going to be on the outside for this turn. So he's not going to be able to close that off here, but a really close run race at the front of the pack here as we head up for the to the first of the slow right-handers. That Merc a little bit out of shape there for Aaron Oliver, but he's just held it together. You can see there Richard Brookfield really harassing the back of the Penrite Mercedes.
And watch DeLuca as well, just behind him in that Ferrari. That Ferrari's going to be quick around the outside, and he does try it. He tries to go around the outside of Brookfield. The Ferrari a little bit more nimble around those corners than the BMW and the Mercedes. The Mercedes is sort of the mid-ground of those cars. It's the sort of, you've got the big heavy, the medium heavy, and then the ultra light. But up the hill here, this is where Brookfield's going to get that advantage of that BMW. You can see behind him, DeLuca is going to jump behind the BMW and try and take advantage of the slipstream to get past Oliver here. He's going to make it. He's going to use that slipstream to get past him. Takes advantage of that. Aaron Oliver losing 2 places in one straight there.
And the Ferrari just holding around on the outside there. Aaron DeLuca getting that done too. Really good driving from all those drivers. Very good awareness of what's going on around them as well. Sam Lehman just harassing the back of the number 70 Aaron Oliver car, as well as we're 3 wide now down towards turn 4 in fact. And just under brakes there. Wow, that Ferrari in the background. Who was that? I think it might have been Christopher Henn, just managing to pull that up, just shy of Sam Lehman too. So this pack here, battling hard. That's allowed Richard Brookfield to open up a 1-second lead at the front of the race. It's Lehman there, just trying to find some space for that Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, easier said than done. The Mercedes is quite a chunky car. It's all Sam Lehman. Just going to have Christopher Henn underneath him there, but that's on the outside for him on that second corner there. So Lehman should be able to just keep this, but he is under some serious pressure right now. As you can see, Christopher Henn darting down the inside here. This corner is going to soon turn to the outside though. So again, Lehman is positioning that car perfectly to keep Henn behind him. He's just got to get a good run out of his final corner though in that fantastic looking AMG Mercedes. Very, very much like a pretty classic Apple computer with those little bits of colour on the front. But Christopher Henn, if he can get a bit of slipstreaming action here, he could start challenging Lehman. But he's got to start worrying about Daniel Webster behind him as well. So they're having to defend from each other.
Lehman's in. Lehman's in. Jumped into pit lane.
Yeah, so he's the first of pitters with Maverick Benson as well. So those guys have decided to come in early, get some clean air, as Christopher Henn and Daniel Webster fight it out side by side through the S's. And it looks like Daniel Webster is just about made it. He's going to make it there.
Wow,
Dale Breed is just on the outside as well.
So close. Very, very good driving there from Henn and Webster. They were a tissue apart heading down into that corner. No touches, no paint traded, as well as Timothy Audy's down on Dale Breed as well. He's on the wrong side of the track there. That Ferrari will be strong through this portion of the track. We've spoken about it repeatedly so far tonight. And it holds true there under brakes there. Just trying to go around the outside. He's going to get that done, I think. He's going to hold it down here. Oh, just not quite far enough up.
Yeah, it's going to turn inside and then outside again here. And that's just going to just not pay off for Timothy Audy there. So just doesn't quite pay off this time. But it looks like the Ferrari is working a lot better in these temperatures. It seems that they're coming alive a little bit quicker and not struggling as much as they were in that first race. So definitely a little bit better performance this later time. So they're definitely looking a little bit more comfortable out there. Now he should Timothy Audy should get a good little bit of slipstream along the front here as well. So he does dart into pit lane though, so he's coming into pit lane.
Yeah, so we've got Paul Mansell, Tim Audy in pit lane. That's got Jeff Connell and Ross Rizzo now up behind this pack. You can just see the black Mercedes of Jeff Connell behind Dale Breed there. So they've made they've wasted no time, I should say, in making their way up through the grid, currently up 7 positions each. I've got James Wilkins as well, who's up 10 positions into 11th position at the moment. So a couple of big movers there, but it is still Richard Brookfield out in front. He's got a 1.5 second gap at the front of this pack, and is benefiting from the battles that we're seeing going on behind him. This one very, very close indeed still.
It is, and right behind them, Christopher Henn and Daniel Webster are still battling it out as well. Those two Ferraris are duking it out for position at the moment. I was going to say, if Dale Breeder had a terrible start, he got caught in the middle and just got a little bit of a pong action moment as he got pinged between a couple of cars at the start there, and he lost a lot of positions. in that start. So that was not what he wanted to have happen, but he has managed to work his way back up there. But he has got a threatening Jeff Connell on the back of him now. So very, very, you don't want to see that black Mercedes in your rearview mirror.
No, for any number of reasons. So the Mercedes of Connell, very, very well driven, and it's a quick car as well. So the Batmobile, as we've started calling it.
Yeah, so Daniel Webster's coming into pit lane, as well as Dale Breeder as well. Dale Breed. So those guys have come in.
Mario Vartanian also jumping in.
So yeah, a few more cars coming in. So we're on lap 6. So we saw the guys making it to lap 6 last time round. So will they be able to get one lap more out of the tanks, and having a little bit more knowledge and a little bit more experience out there tonight? Will Richard Brookfield just ease off a little bit to try and stretch it one lap longer to try and get a little bit of an advantage for that second stint? That's the big question now. And of course, will they be able to make it on just one more stint?
Doesn't sound like he's doing too much conserving at the moment. Of course, he's still 1.5 seconds up the road. Things have stabilised a little bit here, other than this pass just here as Christopher Henn goes past Aaron DeLuca and moves himself up into 3rd position, up 5 spots as well. So the pace of those chasing Jeff Connell, Ross Rizzo, is faster than the cars in front. So they are going to be bearing down on these guys soon enough. Something else they need to take into consideration, and I think you'll find that Connell and Rizzo will not be on a one-stop strategy. They've had to try and make their way through the field.
Yeah, I think Aaron DeLuca made a bit of a mistake up in the first set of corners, and that's what allowed Christopher Henn to get up there. He just had to just went a little bit wide through the centre S's, and that sort of cost him that position, because he was running quite well. He's coming to pit lane this time round with Brookfield. Aaron Oliver stayed out. So Aaron Oliver and Jeff Connell, I believe, stayed out this time round. So those Mercedes obviously able to get a little bit more fuel mileage on them. And Luke Turner as well. So Luke Turner is staying out. So only 3 cars staying out there. Only 3 cars trying for this slightly longer stint here. Big question is now, can they make it? Will they struggle a little bit on fuel as they go up the hills? Oh, Aaron Oliver goes very wide, followed by Jeff Connell. So both those cars running very wide that time round. But the Mercedes looks like it's might be handling its fuel a little bit easier than its Ferrari and BMW counterparts.
Yeah, Ross Rizzo jumped into pit lane there as well. So we just have Luke Turner, the only BMW not to have taken a stop, as well as Oliver and Connell, our top 3 drivers at the moment on track. So see if they jump into pit lane this time around. Your estimate, Carl, was about lap 8, I think you said they needed to get to if they were going to try and attempt a single stop. So they've still got another lap to go after this one if they're even going to attempt to do that. And yeah. Connell's been hard charging the whole time, so I'm not sure how he's going to manage.
That's it. I don't know if they're going to manage one more lap, in all honesty, because Aaron Oliver's lost a lot of time to Jeff Connell. It seems like he's been just short shifting. He's coming into pit lane this time. So both of those guys coming into pit lane. Jeff Connell does the overtake into pit lane there. He has wasted no time.
That I can say I have never ever seen before.
Oh, it's a cheeky manoeuvre. I've seen that kind of manoeuvre before. It's usually not appreciated by the driver in front. But Jeff Connell just carrying the speed through there. And I did say earlier on that this pit lane is one of those pit lanes where you can make and lose a lot of time. And Jeff Connell just absolutely taking it to the extreme there, just braking at the last moment and hopefully getting it slowed to the pit lane speed limiter. But yeah, absolutely mega job there by Connell. So it'd be interesting to see how that goes.
This battle at the front has resumed hot and heavy. In fact, Sam Lehman's made up a couple of positions in pit lane as well. So he's now running 3rd. This is the battle for the lead of the race. So we've got Brookfield, Benson and Lehman battling away here. It is BMW, Ferrari, Mercedes as it was in race 1. And these guys now battling away at the front. They've got a decent gap over Jeff Connell, about 2.8 seconds. And around about a 2-second gap over 4th place Christopher Henn. So we'll keep our eyes on this battle at the front here with Brookfield, Benson and Lehman battling away in the battle of the brands.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch. Just watching Lehman there. He's got a very different racing line to the guys around him. He's just a little bit later into the corners, just sweeping through the corners a little bit later than some of the others, but getting a good exit. So he's trying to get better exit speed, so slow in, fast out. Whereas the other guys are they're not necessarily going fast in, but they're going a little bit faster than Lehman is. But Lehman's getting a much better exit on the corners. But the guys in front of him are able to break that a little bit later. So they're able to keep him behind him right now as the sun is starting to set here in Brazil. So temperatures are going to start falling down as well, and that's going to make a little bit of difference on tyres for people. But right now, Maverick Benson gets a good run again. That BMW punching a huge hole through the air, as you would expect, because it is the size of a London bus, but it is much, much faster.
That's a very, very harsh thing to say about London buses, Cole. Very harsh indeed. As a 3 wide going down the straight here, the what do you call it? No, it's not the front straight. The third mile, the third of a track straight. I'm not sure what you call it, but anyway, they're down there, and there has been a change for the lead there with Maverick Benson just making his way through the centre S, is coming out the best in the Ferrari. We expect to see that the Ferrari very, very good through the corners, and it will open up a little bit of a gap here for him, I believe, as they get through the more technical section of the track.
Yeah, that's the move I was talking about earlier, where in that first race for Jeff Connell, that's what he needed to do earlier on in this race, is get down onto the Opposata. I won't try and pronounce it in accents ever again. That second straight, the straight number 2, down from turn number 3 into turn number 4. But needed to get down there and use that as the overtaking opportunity. That turn number 4, because it is such a slow left-hander, it's quite a wide part of the circuit as well. You can really make a good position there. So Maverick Benson is absolutely flying at the moment. But Maverick Benson has done a few more laps than Richard Brookfield. So Richard Brookfield is a bit heavier as well. So he's got a bit more fuel on board. There's around about 3 laps difference between these cars. Same for Sam Lehman as well. So those cars are a little bit lighter. So again, they're going to have a little bit less weight on board, and we know that BMW is carrying much, much more weight than the rest of them today. So that's going to make a little bit of a difference too.
Yeah, absolutely, a good pick up there. So the undercut worked well for Lehman and Benson, getting them out of that traffic at the start, where you saw them battling away in that sort of 4th through 6th battle pack that we were watching at the start of the race, and that's enabled them to undercut and just jump up towards the front of the field here. Their lap times comparative with pretty much everyone else right throughout the field. In fact, Joshua Fitt, the fastest car on track with a 32.79, but he's way down in 15th at the moment. So this clean air running and getting out of those packs has done well for those boys. They'll have to stop a little bit earlier, and certainly a one-stop strategy out the window for them. But it does mean they don't have to worry about conserving fuel. So, they may be well and truly in this race for a podium finish.
Yeah, that's it. They can now sort of sprint away and try and actually escape from these guys that are saving fuel. From little numbers that I've got sort of worked out, they can make it to around about 18 or 20 laps on a stint with the fuel. That's what I had written down. So it'll be interesting to see. They might just about make it, but I very much doubt it. Sort of some of those guys are definitely not going to make it, like Maverick Benson and Sam Lehman as well. So they're going to struggle. Timothy Orty, he might just be able to scrape through. But I think Jeff Connell is looking good at the moment.
And maybe Christopher Henn. He stopped on lap 6.
Yeah, Christopher Henn as well. He stopped on lap 6, as well as Richard Brookfield. So Richard Brookfield is looking good. They've got Jeff Connell has a lap over them. So there is a little bit more fuel on Connell than Brookfield and Orty, but we Christopher Henn. But we did see that we did see a BMW keep out there as well. But the only 2 cars that really made it on that sort of slightly longer stint were the Mercedes. So it could be interesting in that respect as well. So Jeff Connell could be looking good. Richard Brookfield at the moment, if it works out well, he could be in for a very good shot at the moment.
And of course, one of the drivers we did say to watch out for, he's had some really strong performances. Says Lehman gets a little loose there. He's just trying to get the run underneath the BMW as they head up from turn 14. He's not been able to quite get there, just getting out from under him a little bit. He's under pressure, Sam Lehman from Christopher Henn now, as Lehman decides to pull in. So he's gone in there, very last minute decision, and Paul Mansell goes with him. So Lehman and Mansell in, they will serve their second pit stop, and they'll be fueled up to the end. Obviously deciding again maybe just to get out of the pack, with Christopher Henn applying a bit of pressure on the back and to get some clean air.
Well, that answers that question then. So definitely not feeling confident to make it with about they sort of managed about 8 laps on that stint. So it's going to be tight then, I reckon, because there is some very, very quick pace out here tonight. They are absolutely flying. Maverick Benson is absolutely putting his foot down at the moment. He just set a 1:32.7 last time round. Richard Brookfield a 1:33.6. So Benson is definitely going to stop again, but he's going to try and pull out an advantage to get a good finish in that respect. Richard Brookfield, I think, if he's going to try and actually make it to the end, I'd expect to see him easing off a little bit and not pushing quite as hard, maybe. So I'm not sure if he can. It's going to be close if he can make it. Same with Jeff Connell. Jeff Connell's looking good at the moment, as I said, with that little bit later stop that will have helped him out enormously. And if he can get it to the end and not have to pit in, then he could be in this one for sure.
Yeah, well, fuel strategy always the thing to watch. Christopher Henn coming in. Yeah, Christopher Henn in now as well. That moves Jeff Connell in the Batmobile up into 4th position. So Ross Rizzo is right behind him. They pitted Jeff Connell, the only one that we are reasonably comfortable will make it to the end, along with actually Aaron Oliver, who's down in 7th position. Of course, now we know that Sam Lehman will make it, and so will Paul Mansell and Christopher Henn. So they are the first of the drivers to do 2 stops, but that puts Lehman way down in 18th place, so we'll see what happens as the other drivers end up going through their pit strategies.
Well, it's all going to depend now on the speeds they're carrying. I'm just looking down at Ross Rizzo. He's absolutely flying at the moment. He's pushing that car quite a bit, so I'm wondering if he stopped relatively late as well. He stopped on the same lap as Richard Brookfield. So I'm just wondering if he's getting the thought process of, I'm not going to make this. I need to start pushing it. Who was out there? Jeffrey Wang.
Yeah, Jeff Wang's gone off in the infield there. Just having a look at him, because I was actually about to highlight maybe the little bit of the commentator's curse, that he was actually probably in a good position to make the run to the end. He's running a little slower than our leaders, just doing early to mid 33s, and he stopped on lap 6, so he would have probably made it, or will probably make it to the end on one stop if they can do that. Aaron Oliver, as we mentioned, just in front of Dale Breed there, just off in the distance. He stopped on lap 7, so he's reasonably good. Breed will need to stop again. Derek Audie behind him will need to stop again, as will Vartanian and Daniel Webster. So, as in fact Breed comes into pit lane as we speak. So, I'm not sure that any of these drivers are going to try a one-stop strategy. Maybe Jeff Connell, but I don't think that anyone else is going to make it through.
Yeah, that's it. It's going to be very touch and go for Connell to make it, in all honesty. But as we said, we often get proved wrong when we try and work out fuel mileage. But right now, Ross Rizzo is right on the back of Connell. Rizzo is absolutely flying out there. His fastest car on the track as it stands, and I think that's because he's realised he's not going to make it to the end. So he has he's put down the loud button and made that car go fast. But in doing so, that's going to use up a fair amount of e-fuel, of the internet fuel that provides these cars with the power that they need. So yeah, he's absolutely fast charging at the moment, and he is all over the back of Jeff Connell.
Absolutely. So let's just do a quick run through the top 10 as we stand. It is Maverick Benson out in front of this one. He has been now for a number of laps. He's still got to make a stop. Richard Brookfield right behind him in second place. So right behind, he's 3 seconds back down the road. Timothy Auty currently in third in the Ferrari there for the Simrings.com team. Jeff Connell fourth. We've got Ross Rizzo in fifth. Aaron DeLuca in sixth with Aaron Oliver seventh. Derek Auty currently running in eighth with Daniel Webster and Mario Vartanian rounding out our top 10.
Yeah, this race is anywhere but over. There is so much to come still. And there's going to be a lot of different strategies playing out today as well. And it is going to be interesting to see how this one finishes. But Maverick Benson doing a great job out there at front at the moment, just doing some very good lap times, pulling out a nice gap. He's got about a 3 3.25 second gap over Richard Brookfield. So he is managing to pull a bit of a gap at the moment. So that is what you need to do to try and get a little bit of extra space, and then take advantage of hopefully a short splash and dash to get you towards the end of the race. And then hope that everybody else needs to stop as well, as we've got 16 minutes remaining, 16 and a half minutes remaining of this race. So we still have plenty to come here tonight. Ross Rizzo, I think, has managed to get past Jeff Connell as well. So Ross Rizzo has managed to make that move on Jeff Connell. So Rizzo is up there in fourth place now and is still charging very hard, putting as much pace as he can in that car. Jeff Connell, meanwhile, is just running to fuel numbers, I'd say. He's not pushing the car very hard. He's just running it to what he needs to run it to get it to the end of this race, or to get it as far as he can to make a very short pit stop.
I was half expecting to see Ross Rizzo just duck into pit lane there. He may try it. Did say at the start that he carries a couple of boots full of virtual fuel around in his car. And with the way he's pushing, you might see him try and save.
Just up ahead, Richard Brookfield and Timothy Auty are right in front of each other, almost side by side right here, as they do go down into turn number 4. And you can see Auty there just trying his best. He's all over Brookfield. I think Brookfield might have made a slight little mistake, because he did drop off a little bit more time. I did hear a car just making a bit of a tire screech as well. But Brookfield has got Auty all over the back of him at the moment. That Ferrari is putting pressure on the BMW at the moment, and in the tight, twisty sections where we know the Ferrari is fast.
And Ross Rizzo closing right up behind them as well. This battle helping him out. Jeff Connell coming in to the equation as well. So we have got a race on our hands with just under 15 minutes to go.
Yeah, we've seen some good racing out here tonight. Some good passes as well. Which is what we always do love to see. I think Timothy Auty's going to have a good opportunity up here, up through the start-finish straight. He's going to get a good run behind Richard Brookfield. He might try for the late braking into Curve 1, but he might try and stick to the back of that BMW to get down to the second straight, but I think he's going to try it this time round. He goes to the outside. Is he going to make it work? Sticking on the outside here is not a bad idea, because it does turn to the inside corner. He doesn't quite make it stick this time round, but does get a good run out of the corner. If he can get a good run out and stick to the back of Richard Brookfield, he could be able to make the opportunity pass down at turn 4, and that's where we've seen a lot of manoeuvres being made today.
Yeah, just not quite able to get it done there. As you say, he'll try and carry if he can here. As an opportunistic Ross Rizzo looks to join the party. Gets right down the inside there. Very, very clean pass indeed from Timothy Auty. Well done there. And you've got Ross Rizzo now, who says, I want to get me in on this here action. And he is fast approaching BMW on BMW down through the windy section. This is something that we haven't seen a lot of yet tonight. So interesting to see how the two fare up. But Auty there just managing to get that pass done cleanly.
Yeah, and Richard Brookfield and Ross Rizzo on exactly the same strategies as well. So those two are on the same strategy tonight. So it's interesting to see the different sort of way those two are driving as well. But what this has meant is that Maverick Benson at the front has managed to pull out a 6-second gap, because while these guys are bickering behind him, he is managing to pull away, and this is helping him out for that strategy. The more time he gets in his pocket, the more chance he's got of getting a good finish tonight when if he has to make that that second stop, which we do believe he will have to, as Brookfield tries down the outside here of Orti. He's going to get the inside for the second set of corners in the S's. Doesn't quite make it work here, but this could give Rizzo the chance. Rizzo's going to have a good opportunity down into turn 4 again. You've seen those BMWs are fast. With that little bit of slipstreaming action, Rizzo's going to try for it. It goes to the outside. That's going to be a tricky one to pass. He's got some serious speed here. He tries for the late break around the outside. Doesn't quite make it, and they make contact.
Big slide there. Unfortunately, the contact from Ross Rizzo. That's left Jeff Connell take a little bit of evasive action, but he's made his way back up into 4th position again.
Yeah, Richard Brookfield just defending that inside of the corner and just keeping that car planted there. Was not going to leave that position open and let that one go. So hard defence there and just keeping that race in line. Ross Rizzo there just getting caught on the outside a little bit. It's not an easy place to try and overtake on the outside there. You really want to be on the inside.
As you mentioned, Maverick Benson making the most of this. He is nearly 7 seconds up the road at the moment, and that is a really helpful little gap to have, because he definitely will have to stop again. So will Timothy Orti, in fact, and we believe Richard Brookfield as well. So a very, very handy margin for him to have at the front of the field. He will do well out of this, I think.
Yeah, that's it. Ross Rizzo is right on the back of Jeff Connell once again. So
as Orti is in. Orti is in.
That answers that. Jeff Connell just getting out the way and letting Rizzo through. He wasn't going to battle that one. He didn't really want to put too much of a fight on there. But as you say, Orti has come in, so that's answered that one. He did 14 laps on that stint. So that has given us a little bit of an answer on that one. And I think we're going to see some drivers coming in very, very shortly, because you don't want to be stuck out there too long. And sort of you do lose a little bit of time, so to say, so you can make up a little bit more time if you come out in a little bit earlier.
Yeah, get some clear air and get the run on.
That's it. So, you know, you can leave it right to the end of the race and try it that way. We might see a few people trying that option just for a splash of fuel into the tank with 1 lap to go, maybe. And really rolling the dice in that respect, but it doesn't give you much opportunity to try and overtake anyone in those final laps. So if you are behind somebody, you're sort of a little bit stuck there. But right now, Richard Brookfield has noticed Ross Rizzo back in his mirrors, and Rizzo is definitely starting to catch quite fast as dusk is approaching. The lights on the cars are making the beautiful little bit of pattern on the road surface that we get with GT cars, as Maverick Benson is coming into pit lane.
Indeed, he is coming into pit lane there and making his way down to his pit box. It'll be a splash and dash. Maverick Benson, Richard Brookfield and Ross Rizzo make their way through. Jeff Connell, Aaron DeLuca as well. So I just want to see how long he's stationary for here. So not particularly long. So he's done an 8-second stop there. Total transit time 30 seconds. So for those in front of him who will need to pit again, we believe Brookfield, Rizzo and DeLuca at the very least. So he is Maverick Benson is just on 13 seconds behind our race leader Richard Brookfield. So it's really down now to pit strategy. If all in front have to pit again, he will be in prime position to take out this race. But if Jeff Connell can manage his fuel, then he's going to have to chase him down. Around about 12 seconds between Connell and Benson.
Yeah, that's put Benson out right behind Luke Turner. So he's up in 7th position now. Luke Turner there. So yeah, this could be good for. This could be really good for Maverick Benson. Just depends how much fuel the rest of those guys have got on board and how much they can smuggle into their boots before the beginning of the race. You know, the odd can of scotch or anything like that in the car that you can pour into the fuel tank to get it across the line. You try anything you've got in these cars, but it will be interesting to see who can actually manage it to the very end. As I said, I don't think many of these cars will do it. If they do, it's going to be one of those, again, sort of very, very close ones and probably running out of fuel just as they get across the finish line.
Yeah, absolutely. As it starts to get dull, lights starting to blaze. And we've got around about 5 laps or so to go. So just poised for a really interesting finish, I think, as Maverick Benson has made the move on Luke Turner and moves up into 6th position.
And up the front, Richard Brookfield has got a miracle of Rizzo at the moment. Ross Rizzo in the 784 is all over the back of him once again. We've got that BMW on BMW action that we were interested to see how that one pays out. And will Ross Rizzo try again for a quick overtake, a quick risky overtake, or will he hold back a little bit this time round?
I think if he'll probably have a good idea that Brookfield's going to have to pit again if he does. So there's probably not a lot to be gained other than to manage at this stage, maybe for a late dive. I'm not sure. There's 2 tenths between them at the moment. So yeah, with what we're looking at there, roughly 3, maybe 4 laps to go. It looks like Brookfield may be coming into pit lane. In fact, both are. So you've got Brookfield and Rizzo. Rizzo just maybe trying the Connell move there. Just looking to see if he could maybe get down the inside in pit lane. But not quite able to do that there. So Brookfield and Rizzo into pit lane for their splash of juice. So lap 6 looks like something that is not possible. Aaron DeLuca, the only car in our lead pack now who pitted last on lap 6.
Yeah, that's it. So it's gonna be tight for these guys. Jeff Connell has been driving at a fairly consistent pace, as I said. Same as Aaron DeLuca and Aaron Oliver as well. Those guys all just keeping it going at a fairly consistent pace. This has given Maverick Benson the chance to come up. He's back up into 4th place at the moment, with Luke Turner, I believe, just behind him. Richard Brookfield has come out in P8, I believe. And there is a great battle going on with Richard Brookfield. Sam Lehman, and Ross Rizzo at the moment. Those cars are all over the place, and Sam Lehman is right up the inside of them at the moment, and he is really trying for it. Sam Lehman, of course, we saw he came in a little bit earlier than those guys. He's made up some time, made up some pace over them as well in that clean air, so it's worked out quite well there for Sam Lehman.
Yeah, these guys have been battling all night. So Brookfield just joining that battle after the pit stops, with Lehman taking the earlier stop there. Just squeezed down the inside. He's going to hold it there, I think, with the Mercedes and just get that done.
Rizzo's going to get a great tow here. And he's going to try and get down the inside. We're going to get 3 cars wide.
Oh, I thought they were touching there. I thought they were about to come a cropper. They've gone 3 wide. Down in the...
Oh, Lehman and Brookfield making contact. A big, big accident there. That is huge.
How is that BMW built by a tank? Like a tank. How is that BMW still on the road? Mercedes-Benz likewise will jump back into that one. Have another quick look at it. So they were going 3 wide down the straight here. As you can see there, you've got Rizzo down the inside, and he's just turned across. Oh no, maybe I've called that wrong. Actually, they've just come to touch the 2 cars of Sam Lehman and Richard. Thank you, Richard Brookfield. Just on the straight there, and that has ended Lehman's race. He will not be impressed.
Yeah, I think what's happened there, from just a little bit of a look back, Lehman's actually gone up into Brookfield, so he's got a little bit spooked with Rizzo coming down the inside there, and he's tried to make a bit of a gap, and it's gone across in front of Brookfield, and that's why he's spun around. You can see Lehman being spun there, and that's because the right rear made contact with the left front of Brookfield, and both of those cars gone around, and big impact for both of them. The big thing for Brookfield is he didn't go nose in, whereas Lehman did, and that's going to cause a lot of damage to that engine.
Yeah, you can see that there. So, yeah, just I'm not sure we'd call that a racing incident. Probably is as much as anything else, but unfortunate after some great racing between these two.
Yeah, that was it's a real shame to see that one, and a big shame for Lehman because he was having a great run up there. But as I said, I think got a little bit spooked with Rizzo on the inside there as they were going 3 wide, because It's not a place you really want to go 3 wide in, and you do not want a car sneaking its way up the inside into turn 1 here, because usually that means locked up brakes and a big incident. So, yeah, big tricky one. Jeff Connell now, he's on 16.5 laps out there now. He's doing quite a long stint. Maverick Benson's worked his way up into second, and he is chasing him down at the moment. 7 seconds between those 2 cars. So we've got 2 minutes remaining. So depending on if Jeff Connell can ease this through, he can if he can drive a little bit slower, he might be able to get it down to about one or 2 laps remaining. So he's going to try and get it to just about 2 laps, maybe 1.5 if he can, if he's got time. But Maverick Benson is fast charging at the moment. He is making time hand over fist. He's about 2 seconds a lap faster than Jeff Connell up in front at the moment.
So it looks like he may get that done. No, look at the fuel saving there as he jumps off the gas very, very early on. This will be the penultimate lap, you would think. Yeah, absolutely it will be. He's got 6.5 seconds over Maverick Benson. Luke Turner just 8 seconds. So it is absolutely the fuel game. If Connell doesn't make it, I'd imagine Luke Turner probably won't either. Let's jump on board with him for a sec.
Yeah,
just
Luke
have a listen.
As well, just
same thing.
Very much fuel saving. This is giving Christopher Henn a good opportunity as well. He's flying at the moment, so he's catching on Luke Turner. Maverick Benson, as I say, he could be in with a shout here. He's only 6 seconds behind. Jeff Connell is desperately hoping that the clock keeps ticking down. He wants this to be over as quickly as possible. He does not want this race to go on another lap, I think. But he can't afford to just cruise around and let the time run out. He hasn't got the lead advantage of it. He's got only 5 seconds over Maverick Benson.
He's done a great job again here. Jeff Connell understands these cars really well. How to get the most out of them.
Liam Capizzi has just had a big moment.
And Mario Vartanian, I think, may have got caught up in it.
Yeah, Mario Vartanian into the side there, so a big incident between those 2. But Jeff Connell, he has got to make it 1 more lap. I said these cars can do around about 18 to 20 laps, possibly. He has done 18 laps now. He is really going to be saving as much fuel as humanly possible right now. I imagine he is rocking back and forth in his seat as well to make it go quicker. He's only got a 4.5 second lead over Maverick Benson as well. Benson is charging down. Connell cannot afford to have a bit of a choke. If the car starts spluttering up that hill, it could cost him this win.
That was a huge fuel save there. Benson gained half a second, so he is heavily fuel saving. The number must be absolutely line ball. You can see him doing it again there. He'll be watching the rearview mirror. It's down to 4 seconds now for Maverick Benson as Connell is halfway through this lap. Now down under 4 seconds, 3.5 seconds. So he is absolutely hauling him in here. Jeff just trying to save fuel as much as he can. 3 seconds is still 3 seconds. He's got that time there. He's now on the roll down the hill, so that's going to help him. But he does still have to make that final climb up onto the straight to bring this one home. It's now down under 3 seconds now between Benson and Connell. But you'd like to think if he's got the fuel, he's going to get this done. Unless it coughs, he will have... Oh, just a little cough there. Oh,
starting to splutter. And it's almost out. He's running out now. The car is cruising along. Has he got time? He's going to make it. He just makes it across the line.
My goodness me. It couldn't have been any closer. He's going to roll down the hill here out of fuel. Maverick Benson was closing extraordinarily fast there. And Luke Turner looks like he made it across the line as well. So with a margin of around about a second over Paul Mansell, but he equally is out of fuel.
Yeah, Luke Turner he exactly the same strategy as Connell. So the BMW and the Mercedes could make it on fuel, so they did do it. We saw Aaron Oliver as well. He tried the same strategy, didn't quite pay off as well for him. He finished down there in 7th, I believe, so still good finish, but a bit further down. But Maverick Benson, oh, how close was that? That was so very close there. 1 second. 1 second between Maverick Benson and Jeff Connell there after 40 minutes of racing, and Jeff Connell out of fuel as he crosses the line. That you can't get closer than that, really.
No, indeed. In fact, we've had to go back and just pull up some replay footage to show you the race winner because he ran out of fuel, jumped straight out of the race. So we'll just bring up the final race results there for you for race 2. And once again, it's decided that it wants to start right at the back. So we'll just quickly jump that back up to the front there. And it is Jeff Connell taking out the feature race here tonight with Maverick Benson and Luke Turner 2nd and 3rd. We'll speak with those guys in a moment. Paul Mansell, Christopher Henn in 4th and 5th. Ross Rizzo ended up finishing in 6th position with Aaron Oliver, who did start on the front row in 7th. Dale Breed in 8th. We've got Daniel Webster and Aaron DeLuca 9th and 10th respectively. Josh Fitt, Jeff Wang on 11 and 12. With Timothy Audie 13th, Richard Brookfield in 14th, Lockie Capel and Brady Buchanan 15th and 16th, Liam Caplice 17th, and Patrick Panton in 18th position. As we flick this chart over, we've got Derek Audie 19th, Jane Wilkins in 20th, Phil Audie 21st, Mike Casey 22nd. We've got Tim Mitchell 23rd with Mauro Vartanian in 24th. And unfortunately, Sam Lehman for a strong race, unfortunately DNFing in to 25th position.
Yeah, got to give a shout out to Paul Mansell there. 16 positions gained in that race. He started 20th and finished 4th at the end of that one. Really good performance. He ended up overtaking Christopher Henn with about a lap to go as well. Those two were battling it out right to the very end. So really good, strong finish there as well. But my word, that was a very, very close finish and very close on fuel there at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. A great race. And we do have, I've dragged Ross Rizzo in here. Ross, I'm going to pop you back out again, mate. I'm just used to bringing you in here at the end of the race. So good race, well run. Thanks very much. And we'll catch up with you hopefully next week. Instead here we'll jump on. We've got Jeff Connell who's jumped in. We're just waiting for Maverick Benson to get here, and we do have Luke Turner on board as well. Jeff, we'll start with you, mate. A cough and a splutter there just as you approached the entrance to pit lane. A fuel strategy managed just about as well as you can.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Turned out well in the end, so wasn't sure how to go. I don't use any of the apps or anything like that tell you fuel numbers or anything. I just go off the just the standard iRacing fuel gauge. So it was a bit touch and go whether I make it, but turned out well in the end.
It couldn't have turned out much better, to be brutally honest. So you didn't even make it round for part of a highlight lap. But look, a race really well run. You were playing the long game from very, very early on. We were keeping an eye on it. And Rizzo there giving you a little bit of curry. We knew that what you were trying to achieve when he jumped up onto the back of you there, and you just kind of waved him on through running your race to a number.
Yeah, exactly. I knew I was running to a number, and I knew he pitted a lap earlier than me. So unless there was something unreal about the Beamer fuel, I knew he didn't have enough to do it on one stop. So I wasn't too worried about fighting him. But it's funny, halfway through the race, even though I'd been saving, I probably could have switched to the to a 2-stop halfway through, and if everything went well and I stayed on track, I probably would have got it on the other strategy as well. So I think could have gone either way with strategy tonight. I'm just lucky it worked out, but not very exciting cruising around a second a lap slower. I definitely had more fun in the first race battling Ross, but yeah, hopefully it was good to watch.
Well, yeah, and actually it's a good time to just quickly talk about that while we do have you. That first race, the dive, we thought you'd got it done. It just carried a little bit too much for you, and Ross was able to flip back on you and take away the win.
I locked the fronts and got a bit of understeer in that dive bomb on him. But yeah, last corner I had to send it and have some fun anyway. I wasn't just going to sit there. So no, it was good fun.
No, and obviously kept it clean as well, which is what we like to see. So congratulations, obviously, on a big win in the race here. That'll maintain your lead at the top of the championship as well for our pro category. So a race well run. Congratulations.
But yeah, I'm pretty surprised to be winning the pro and the overall comp. I only started as an amateur at the start of the season, so it's a bit of a surprise, but it's been good fun. So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
That's what happens, mate. You're running around in the Batmobile. It gets the job done. The Mercedes continues to be a strong performer and certainly in your capable hands. Anyone you want to quickly thank tonight?
No, still privateer, but thanks to you guys for doing a really good stream. It's good to watch and good for everyone to be able to watch back. And also, same again, thanks to the guys running it. The parity seemed awesome. Like in that first race when we were all going flat out, there was a Ferrari, a Beamer, and a Merc all fighting for the win. Probably all within half a tenth of each other. So yeah, it's been awesome and really well run. So thanks to those guys as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and finish that way again tonight as well with the Merc yourself. We'll speak to now Maverick, who did bring home the Ferrari in second. Good to see a good mix there, Maverick, and a really good drive from you as well to bring home second place in the feature race.
Evening, Stu. Yeah, thanks. Pretty happy with how the Ferrari went tonight. Seems the balance is really, as Jeff said, it's come really close. Like in the first race, we're really tight. Luke and Jeff did an awesome job to one stop that. But yeah, good to have some close battles.
We saw in the first race there that the Ferrari really struggled at the start of the race. Just looked like it was struggling for grip despite its pace during qualifying. Is that what you found?
Yeah, I just struggled to get the tyres up to temperature. Once they came up, it was okay. I made a few little mistakes of my own, but yeah, once the tyres were up to temperature, it sort of settled in.
And then obviously you're able to bring that back, and it didn't look like it had the same struggles at the start of the second race with the change in track temp.
No, it seemed to switch on really quickly there. I don't know if it was different temperatures or what.
So, second position home from you, and as I said, both race 1 and race 2 really well run, so congratulations, and a quick shout out to your sponsors.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Injectors Online Racing, AHR Media, and I'll also give a big shout out to Luke and Jeff and Ross for some great racing in those 2 heat races.
Yeah, absolutely. It was good for us to watch. We were shouting right at the end of the stream, so it was good to see you. You closed down really quickly. We thought you might just get Jeff as we were on board with him, and he coughed just heading up the hill there. So a good finish for us to be able to broadcast.
Yeah, it was tight. I was hoping I was going to make it, but not to be.
Potentially next week. And Luke, we'll grab you, mate, if you want to jump in. And congratulations on third place in the mighty BMW. You brought that one home.
Yeah, thanks, Stu. That was a little bit of a rescue mission, to be honest. After, I think, was it the end of the front straight, turn 3 or 4? Well, you know the one I'm talking about. At the end of that, I just got caught up in someone else's accident. Poor Ross plowed into me, and I was facing the wrong way out in the sand trap. So straight away, I knew what lap I had to get to make the one stopper work. So I had a bit of damage. So I was just rolling out to get to that lap, and then once I did pit, I was just completely playing the fuel game. So on one hand, I'm happy because that's what allowed me to get a result, and on the other hand, I'm like, doesn't feel like racing when you're rolling out, 200 meters before the board every lap and looking at the last lap time, everyone's doing it, and so it's I don't know, it's a bittersweet, but I was glad to come home.
Yeah, absolutely, and they got the fuel numbers exactly right because both you and Jeff ran out on the same corner. So the guys have done a great job there. The BMW copped an extra weight penalty for this race. Did that really change too much for you in comparison? Obviously, Bathurst, a completely different track where we last drove the car, but did that alter anything in the way that you went about it tonight?
Not really how I went about it, but I was cheeky. I wanted to try and switch to the Merc, but I didn't realise there was a rule that the top 5 couldn't do it because I thought I'm going to hop in with Jeff and help give him some ballast. So look, no, it didn't change how I drove it because the Merc and BMW are actually very similar, but with a little bit more weight on the BMW in the testing I did, the Merc's just got a little bit of an edge. But whether I was in the Merc or the BMW or the Ferrari, I think I did the math, and I could tell I could do it on one, and it wouldn't be detrimental.
Yeah, we weren't quite sure who was going to make it, but again, obviously good there. And Aaron Oliver as well ran the same strategy. He stopped on lap 7 and managed to get through as well. So the Beamer and the Mercs running that full strategy. So it was great to see it come across the line and get the job done. Just a quick comment as well for your sponsors.
Mate, I'm a privateer with a fancy skin, so I'll just thank all the all of the sponsors that put this on. I genuinely am wrapped. I race in a couple of other leagues, and I've really enjoyed all the guys on track, all the people who put this together, and to you guys as well, Stu and FGM Ecast. Thanks for broadcasting it. Appreciate it.
It's certainly our pleasure to do so, and a great result there for third place for you, Luke. Well done on a good recovery and a great drive throughout the night. We will let you guys go. Carl, as usual on a Tuesday night, I'm going to hit you up for your moment of the night.
It's a tricky one. I'm going to have to go just with Maverick Benson's last stint there. Just the speed he was carrying, he was absolutely flat out. There were a few really good overtakes as well throughout the evening. But just seeing how fast and how much Maverick Benson was pushing it there, that was really some impressive stuff. And of course, got to say the splutter at the end for Connell as well. You can't get more drama than that in a endurance race, having a car splutter up a hill. But yeah, I got to go Maverick Benson. Like just his just getting past early on in that stint, knowing he was going to make that 2-stop, and really absolutely pushing that car to the maximum, getting that second place and making that 2-stopper work as well.
Yeah, there was a couple of good things in there. I'm going to just give a shout out to Sam Lehman. Obviously, a little bit of at fault there, but he had such a cracking battle there at the end of the race. We got to enjoy that, and right throughout that second race, we saw those guys nose to tail for large sections of the feature race there. So some cracking battles right throughout the pack, but shout out to Sam also as the category organizer as well. He did a ripping job tonight, so commiserations to him, but it was good to see him up the front battling out with those guys as well and having some good close racing throughout the evening. So well done to him. And I must admit, we say it every week, and it's not something that we say lightly. There's, I think people who haven't organised these series and run them, there is a heck of a lot of work that goes into them. In one of the AUSPASS series as well, we see those guys say it's basically a full-time job to run one series. With the amount of testing that Sam and Matty Carleone, who didn't run tonight, he just messaged me saying he's moving house, he'll be back next week. They put a lot of hours into getting these things up and running. They're volunteers. It's certainly not a paid position or anything like that. And they've got it right again tonight. Merc, Ferrari, BMW, couple more Ferraris, couple more BMWs right throughout the order, and the balance is really good. The racing's nice and close. And the strength of the racing is really good as well. So we're really lucky to be able to broadcast the series.
Yeah, it was absolutely spot on tonight. The ballast, the fuel numbers, everything was perfect because, as I said earlier on, that 2-stop strategy, I think is going to be the one most people use, and it should be fast enough to actually work out, and it did end up working out. If Maverick Benson had maybe one more lap or a little bit of extra straight there, if he had another corner even, he could have taken the victory there and Jeff Connell could have finished second. It was that close. And we saw some great stuff out there between all the cars as well, and such close racing between the Merc, the Ferrari and the BMW as well, just showing that they are pretty much on point for that too, which is exactly what we want in GT cars. It's one of the best thing about GT racing. You've got such different designs out there. You've got big front-engined heavy cars, slightly lighter front-engined heavy cars, and you've got the mid-engined Ferraris, things like that. Very different concepts, but setting very similar lap times and comparable on track. That's something special.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of fast-flowing circuits. Next week, we are off to Silverstone, one of my favourite tracks for the next installment of the Oz Pro Am Sim series. That is another sprint round, and then coming up shortly thereafter is Road America, yet another one of my favourite tracks. I'm looking forward to the next couple of weeks in seeing what this series can bring. Can anyone beat Jeff Connell or catch him? He has managed his races extraordinarily well over the last couple of rounds and done extremely well to take home some wins leading the Pro Series, and he will continue to do so out of Interlagos tonight. Carl, into Thursday, we head back to the AUSPASS Cup Series, and we I completely stuffed up the announcement last night. Print a retraction, whatever you want to say. But we head to Talladega for the AUSPASS Anzac Cup. That's it. Is that even right? Is that what it's called?
We'll go with that one. The AUSPASS Cup with the Anzac special there at Talladega. So it's the Anzac celebration at Talladega this week for Thursday night. Talladega, of course, the super speedway. It's going to be a very fast, very furious race there. There have been a few new little rule tweaks, and we'll talk you through them before the start of the race, or head to the AUSPASS Facebook page just to check them out. But it's going to be one heck of a race, and of course, with Anzac Day coming up on the Sunday, it's the time that we celebrate it for that race. So it should be a good one, and it often brings us some incredible action. So yeah, get ready for that one. We look forward to seeing you there. And then, of course, we've got the truck final coming up on a Monday at I've forgotten the name of the place where we're going to, which is often the case with me. My brain is saying Kansas, but I'm pretty sure that's wrong. Nashville, that's the one. So we're off to Nashville Fairgrounds short track oval for the truck series. So that will be on the Monday night, Monday the 26th. So that will be a very interesting one as well. But as always, Stuart, pleasure calling it with you, and it's been an absolute fun race to watch as well.
Yeah, I'm very thankful for your support on the stream. Scotty, you messaged me as well. He had a long day at work today and wasn't able to make it, but he'll be back, I'm sure, next week for Silverstone. Got a big shout out to simrigs.com, massive supporters of sim racing with their team, the Audi guys, getting behind it. They'll be running in the Cup Series on Thursday night as well. Bridgestone Select, Cranbourne, Fountain Gate and Rowville 93 PC, and of course HJ Plant Repairs as well for supporting the series. The sponsor that's been with us since the start of this series 12 months ago now, so thank you to them for their ongoing support. Of course, AJ Insurance Services, our streaming partner as well, and everyone who helps make this possible. That's it. That's us done for a Tuesday night. Tomorrow night is our night off. I'm actually going to go to Talladega and smash up a few cup cars in preparation for trying to understand what's going to happen on Thursday night. But other than that, we will see you Thursday night around about 8 o'clock here on FGM eCast, your e-place for pace. Thanks very much for watching, and we will see you then.